propagating. Oh, look at that.
We're live. Oh, did we lose you, Steve? Is it just me? Steve. Might be just me on this stream, ladies and gentlemen. Steve,
all right, I can get that.
Oh, there we go. Nope, he gone. All right. Well, it's just me. Nope, now he's back. Okay.
And I'm back.
There we go.
Here we go. Don't worry, folks. We are here. We just push through over here. That's what we do. It's the blue collar way. But yeah, I got Josh Elliott here with me, the host of Just a Bit Outside. I can't do that nearly as good as you can. And the host and creator of the Call Your Shot Show. You know, the future of gambling.
Yeah.
What's going on today, buddy? I see you sipping on your coffee out there.
Yeah, I'm at this time right now where it's 11 o'clock. I'm at the lake. I had my cup of this is my second cup of coffee, but now it's like, do I switch over to having a beer now? I don't know, but I'll just have a cup of coffee for right now while we're on the show. So thanks for having me, Steve. I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to talk some other things than just sports. You know, I mean,
well, I mean, you gave me the idea for this week.
I'm excited to talk about this week. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Just because if we start talking about it now, we're not going to stop talking about it. And
like we could be here. This could be a 2.5 hour live stream on just what we're about to talk about. Like it's
like we have to hit the first topic so we don't just forget about it by talking about the second topic first.
Exactly.
So our first topic is the NBA Hall of Fame class of 2020, headlined by a big three, if you will. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan all inducted in the same class. That's an awesome Hall of Fame class.
I was gonna ask, like this has to be the best class, you would think.
I mean, up there. I haven't really looked that much into like, each year by year induction classes.
Well, I was reading a couple articles, and Bleacher Report had this class as the second best, and then the best one was Jordan, Stockton, and Robinson. David Robertson.
David the Admiral. So that's a really good Hall of Fame class as well.
But would you stack it to this year's? Would you?
I think it's close, being so close to the death of Kobe and kind of, I don't know, the emotional side of this one. I think kind of levels the playing field almost. I hate to say it like that, like making it a good thing, but
no, I mean, 100%.
That was a tear jerking ceremony.
Yeah,
from them. Kobe Bryant was just, even as a Celtics fan, I couldn't help but respect the guy. But class act as a player, both on and off the court. I always liked the guy, and I mean, you can't hate greatness.
He was one of the most likable players in the league. At the time when he was playing, there's just nobody.
He was a superstar that didn't have that douchebag ego to him.
Nobody had a single bad thing to say about him on the court. Just nothing bad. Everybody liked him, and it was just so tough to like or dislike him or dislike his his play on the court. It was just, it's just he's just one of those guys. And then obviously he passes away, and it's absolutely heartbreaking, and most definitely deserved to be first ballot Hall of Fame. No doubt about it.
I loved hearing his wife Vanessa said something last night about she asked him once about why he never sat out games, like he almost refused to sit out, and he said, well, what about those people, those fans who saved up all this money just for a chance to watch me play maybe once?
Yeah,
wow. That's awesome for I'm like that blows me away for like a superstar athlete to actually give a shit about the fans. You know what I mean? It's like it that much.
That is an amazing way to look at it if you think about it. Oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love that because it's a good point.
Yeah. It just shows how
expensive.
Yeah, and it just shows what kind of character he has, right?
100%. And then, so after that, they did announce the and I do have to talk actually before I go on. Kevin Garnett's Hall of Fame induction was awesome. I don't know if you heard any of his.
So I just caught the start of it, and then obviously I was golfing yesterday, so I had to rip to the golf course. So I just caught the beginning. I didn't catch any of the players' inductions, but I caught a couple of the writers there.
Yeah, so Kevin Garnett just like raved about Boston for most of his, which
you would have loved that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was kind of a fan of it. I really enjoyed it. Garnett was awesome as a player too. Garnett was one of my favorite players to watch. Like even before he came here, I love the way he played. But like having him here, like he was one of those dudes that like bled Celtic green. I don't care if that sounds cliche or not. Like he 100% bought into the whole lore of the Celtics and the fan base. As soon as he got here, he bought into all of it. I love Kevin Garnett.
In terms of, I want to ask you this. In terms of, Boston athletes, the players that have played in Boston / New England, where does he rank? Guys that have bought into the system, where does he rank in your top, 5 or whatever?
That's tough. And he honestly. Unfortunately, as much as I love the guy, Boston has such a deep history. Like, I mean, are you talking just Celtics or all Boston sports?
Oh, I'm talking Boston sports. Just guys that have just came in and then just embraced the city, embraced the culture.
He might be in the top 10, but like, that's tough because, I mean, there's been a lot of guys who have really, really bought into it over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to go all the way back to the 70s, the Big Brad Bruins, and Russell, and back to the 60s with Russell's Celtics. Like, so that's tough.
Bobby Orr.
So now that they announced the Hall of Fame class of 2021, and this is another great. This is actually another great class. So
I missed it. Who is it?
Well, right at the start, we got my man, the truth, number 34, Paul Pierce, first ballot Hall of Fame. All these young kids on NBA Twitter, you disrespect Paul Pierce, you all just don't know.
So obviously his little Instagram parade there didn't cost him getting into the Hall of Fame. So that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, dude, he's got the right to do that. The only person he needs to apologize to is his wife for that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So along with him, we got Chris Bosh getting inducted. This is not one of today's Triple T's, but I did see someone say that did Chris Bosh do enough to get inducted into the Hall of Fame? Yes, he won 2 rings. It was an 11-time All-Star.
Well, we're losing you, Steve.
No one else in the Hall of Fame who did. Yep, there we
go.
I
was gonna say
five-time All-NBA player.
I was gonna say. I mean, if
what's up?
If I was gonna say if Bosch stays in Toronto, it doesn't go to Miami. I don't think we're talking about Chris Bosch like we are right now. You know what I mean? Like he was really good.
Probably not.
You know, like he was really good in Toronto, but I hate to say it, but I just don't think he was gonna get a championship with Toronto. So I mean, rightfully so, he gets to go on into Miami and you know, get some more accolades for his career. But I mean, he gets to play with LeBron and D Wade, and I think that's why we're talking about him now. If he stays in Toronto, we're not hyping him up. I don't think he's in this year's or next year's NBA class for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, he may have still been able to get in. Like he probably still would have made like a shitload of All-Star teams.
Yeah,
but he more than likely wouldn't have won anything.
No,
in Toronto. So like he still might have gotten in, but he would have waited a lot longer. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Webber is getting in. That's well deserved. I like Chris Webber. Big fan of C-Web. And then this is one that to me is a long time coming. I think he should have already been in. Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace isn't in yet, eh?
Yeah, Ben Wallace is finally getting in. Dude, I saw someone say, like, oh, he only averaged, like whatever points per game, like, for his career, and it wasn't a lot. Dude, he was like a 2 or 3-time rebound champion, 4-time defensive player of the year, NBA champion. Dude, if you got 4 defensive players of the year in, I'd have to say, any fucking sport.
And had probably
you're a Hall of Famer.
Had one of the best hairdos in all of NBA.
Yeah, that hairdo right there is enough to get him in the Hall of Fame.
That alone would get you in the Hall of Fame.
100%. And then there was a couple others that were on this class that were interesting. Rick Adelman, longtime coach. Jay Wright, 2-time NCAA champion. Bill Russell. There we are, as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
And now this is, like, people, I don't know, I think some people may, unfortunately, some people on Twitter may not really.
Oh, we lost you, Steve. We lost you.
And he was also the first black coach in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
And the first player / coach in the history of the NBA. So, like, this is, I think that's well deserved.
Oh, for sure.
For him to get in.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of other names here that really just, no offense to any of them, not worth, not really worth spending that much time on.
All those careers are for sure.
So 100%. And now let's move it right into it here, Josh. This is why we came here this week. Josh gave me this idea. I turned it into what will be a new weekly segment on this show, the movie of the week, where I'll just review some random movie that I felt like watching. I don't care. So today we're reviewing Face Off. Josh just recently watched it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it doesn't matter because I've seen it like 54 times at least. So I can keep my memory of Face Off pretty fresh. I don't care that it was made 20-something years ago. Face Off is awesome.
1997.
1997. So for the uninformed, uncultured, uneducated.
Yeah, for those who've been living under a rock and don't want to watch one of the best movies of all time, here's how one of the best movies of all time went.
Yeah, so it starts out with Nicolas Cage as like this over-the-top, eccentric international terrorist, and John Travolta is the dedicated FBI agent, sworn his life to stopping him. After, as we see in the opening scene, Nicolas Cage is Castor Troy, accidentally shoots Travolta's son with a bullet that was meant for him. I can't remember the name of Travolta's character.
Sean something. Sean. Shit. Yeah. I'll look it up. Sean something. Anyway, you keep going.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go and look up, I mean, we'll get to that, but oh my God, that is hilarious. I just looked up something and it's giving me 2 names for each person. Keep losing you, Steve. Anyway, Castor Troy, he's in a park in LA. He ends up, we don't know the backstory on this whole thing. We don't know what's going on. But anyway, all it is, it starts out as...
Yeah, I think they've just been going at it for a while. Now, I have to touch on this opening scene of Face Off. This gets me every time. Castor Troy is just rocking with like the 70s porn stash.
Yeah.
And slurping the shit out of his fountain drink as he's looking through the sniper rifle. And dude, like, I don't think that's something that was in the script. I don't think that was in any stage directions. I think Nicolas Cage was just like, I'm Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I'm just gonna do Nicolas Cage shit for this entire movie
before I kill Sean Archer and his kid.
Yeah. So the bullet misses Archer. It hits the kid.
It goes through him.
And
goes right through him.
It goes through Archer. That's right. And yeah. So Archer survives. His kid dies, and now years later, Archer's just.
I will say.
What do you say?
What a wild. Like, they're on a fucking merry-go-round as Castor Troy is trying to shoot this guy. That thing is fucking moving. Like, that must have been one of the toughest shots. I mean, he nailed him.
It's a very impressive shot. It's Castor Troy, motherfucker.
I mean, you would think if you're trying to snipe somebody, you're trying to get him as still as possible, not just on a merry-go-round that's moving.
Yeah, he's like, all right,
10 miles.
Let me take this shot while they're on a speeding merry-go-round instead of like waiting 10 minutes for them to get off and like stop off to the side of it so I can just easily get a clear shot. But whatever. And then. The movie basically after that, it basically goes right into
6 years later.
Yeah, 6 years later, he's stopping something that Castor Troy was doing. I can't remember exactly what it was. But importantly, he leaves Castor Troy pretty much dead. Mm-hmm. But not dead, but in critical condition.
In a coma.
He's in a coma.
Let's not glance over this here, Steve. We are talking about probably one of the best 15 minutes in cinematic history.
Oh,
we had.
Thinking back to it, yeah.
I mean, we just to like give the viewers who haven't seen it.
This is when they're chasing the plane, right?
Yeah. So first we start off with the kid dying. Rip Hop, it's going to be a good movie. Then we're dealing with Castor Troy is like in an airplane, and then cops are swarming them, trying to get him to stop. And then we have like a Hummer that's trying to get it to stop. The Hummer.
Oh yeah, we have Castor Troy dancing his way through like some church procession and hitting and
like, and like
giving some little quiet girl and she's infatuated with them. Great stuff.
And then a helicopter trying to stop the plane by landing on top of it.
Oh yes, yes.
And then a massive gunfight that ends up in Castor Troy being in a coma. I mean, this all happens within.
Doesn't he get like sucked into a fan or something?
Yeah, like he ends up hitting a cage or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to just see it.
I mean, this is all within the first 15 minutes of the movie, ladies and gentlemen. This is what gets you.
And then, so they still need to get this information from Castor Troy, but they can't get it. It's about a bomb that I believe he has planted somewhere.
Yeah, like there's a bomb.
Yes, it's about a bomb.
Before. And I got to add one more thing. This was the first. I had two thoughts watching it this week. I said, one, wow, these first fucking 15 minutes are amazing. And second, after all that first 15 minutes of the gunfights, all these explosions going off at the airport, Sean Archer goes home as if it was like a regular day of work, like dealing with his teenage daughter that was like having trouble in high school. And then like dealing with his wife, it's like he just walks in with his arm, like his coat on his shoulder, just tosses it on the hook. It was like, so what happened here today? You know, like it was just wild to think. Like, oh yeah, I just about died about 4 fucking different times.
Yeah, like what? How was your day, honey?
Dealing with his teenage daughter. But yeah, so then they end up finding out that there's this bomb. I'm not 100% sure where it is, but it's some
I believe it was at the LA Convention Center.
Yeah, it was a convention center, right? Yeah. And then you keep going.
So this is where we get to the title of the movie. Is Travolta, Sean Archer, with this experimental technology procedure, hard to explain 90s movie plot device. He is able to actually switch faces with Castor Troy. So now,
so the reason they're doing this is because
Sean Archer is played by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, so just
yes, and they need him to go undercover as Castor Troy
because his brother
prison, which is again a weird 90s high-tech prison.
Yeah. with magnetic boots.
Yep, with magnetic boots. And he needs to try to get this in, see if he can get the information out of the younger brother.
Yeah, so that they can disarm the bomb. Yeah.
So now Nicolas Cage is the good guy. So Sean Archer, Nicolas Cage, goes undercover in the prison. While he's there,
by using this amazing face switching technology that
he's even able to mimic the voice. It's incredible.
No, they said they put a microchip in his throat.
Yes, a microchip in his throat.
They put a microchip in his throat so that they can.
You know my other thought on this that I have to just say real quick?
Yeah.
Is that in 1997, it was a really good investment to put $100 million, nearly $100 million into an R-rated action movie about John Travolta and Nicolas Cage swapping faces.
Let's talk about this technology too. Like, amazing. John Woo was ahead of his time a bit.
Oh, John Woo is the man, dude. I love John Woo's. I even love his shit over in Hong Kong, dude. Like Hard Boiled is awesome. All his movies are awesome.
I was listening to the director's cut, or just like an interview about like this. They were talking about this technology. Like, how did you come up with the idea? And John Woo straight up said, he's like, I believe we're going to be able to do this in 10 years or something like that. He goes, I think we will, this technology will be available. And this is back in 1997, right?
Dude, how do we know it's not, though?
That's true. Maybe this is, how do we know? Maybe it wasn't even available back then. Maybe John Woo's working for the FBI.
Yeah, and man, this could be some highly classified shit. I could have just broken a conspiracy wide open. They could be coming to kill me right now.
100%.
Yep. Well, I'm in danger now. So anyway, while Sean Archer, Nicolas Cage's Sean Archer, is undercover in the prison, Castor Troy, Nicolas Cage, wakes up, and he's not happy.
Yeah, as anybody would without their face.
Yes, he's not happy. He's a little pissed off about losing his face. And he finds out everything that happened. So, I mean, he fucks up this doctor. But before he does, he makes the doctor switch his face with John Travolta's face.
Mm-hmm.
So now John Travolta is the bad guy.
Now John Travolta is the bad guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And Castor Troy kills anybody that has any knowledge of this secret operation.
So yeah, like immediately.
Yeah. So that now there's no evidence that they actually switched. And
I love how casually he just steps right into this guy's life. Like,
yeah.
Yep, dude, I'm gonna have sex with your wife. I'm gonna fucking. He ends up being like a better parent to the daughter than the real Sean Archer was. Even though he had some fucked up methods, he just started smoking butts in the house.
Yeah, Castor Troy ended up John Travolta. So Castor Troy, played by John Travolta, ended up being like a better person almost. Like he's beating up his daughter's like boyfriend, like daddy.
Yeah.
Like who was like trying to rape her. Who ended up kind of being. That didn't really.
That was a pretty good scene.
Well. Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah, it didn't go well because that's something that apparently that was a nice thing to add to the movie is that's where Castor Troy draws his line.
And now, yeah.
So he does have some bit of a coat. So then, in the prison, to kind of like prove that he is who he is, Nicolas Cage, Sean Archer / Castor Troy, has this whole like awesome fight scene where he's like, "I'm Castor Troy."
He says it like 100 times, I think. If you ever,
oh my god, I just need to watch this. I'm gonna need to watch the movie right after this so I can like count that and get back to all of you. But yeah, he just said so many times.
So
and then he convinces the guy that he was fighting to help him escape.
I'm just gonna back up just real quick. So Castor Troy, so Sean Archer, who's now Castor Troy, he meets with
complicated.
I know it is. He meets with Castor Troy's real brother, right? And immediately, right away, Castor Troy's brother is like skeptical on like, that doesn't seem like his brother. But like, he has his full face on him. Like, how are you? How can you be?
How are you questioning this? You're not supposed to know this is possible. That's such a good point.
He was so skeptical right away that it wasn't his brother. That it was like, okay, well, come on. Like he has his full face. That's his voice. That's his brother. Like, I mean, there's no denying it. But yeah, he was. I just wanted to address his skepticism towards the new Castor Troy.
That's such a good point. And then so that's why the new Castor Troy does this whole fight scene and yells out, "I'm Castor Troy" a bunch of times to just kind of reiterate to everyone that he is Castor Troy in case anyone was questioning it, even though they're not supposed to know any of this. Yeah, they don't know any of this is possible, but whatever. And then he escapes from prison. Now this How the fuck does he even get? Like this place is like a boat in the middle of the water, and he just like swims all the way back to San Francisco.
It's an oil rig.
Yeah, it's like an oil rig. It's got to be something like that. Yeah, I think so.
So these prisoners cannot leave without because with these magnetic boots. Another amazing. I don't know if this is a real technology, but the higher ups can just like flick on a switch with these boots, and you can't move. So pretty impossible for you to actually escape this prison. But the only way they can take these boots off is
I think it is
you, unless you get shocked. They do like shock therapy or something like that. So if you get shocked, they take the boots off, which I don't understand. But anyway, that's how Sean Archer,
the boots,
finds his opening to escape. So he figures out a way. He escapes. He gets onto the top of this oil rig, and he's in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. And then he jumps off. Oh, we lost him again. And then here's another thing I noticed. He's in the middle of this ocean. He's on the top, and he's like, where the fuck am I? He jumps into, like, he's getting followed by this helicopter, right? Who's shooting at him and whatever. He jumps into the ocean and, like, makes this massive, like, splash with this helicopter still, like, it just kind of flew over him. The next scene.
Yeah, and then it just forgets you exist.
And then 2 scenes later, the next time we see Sean Archer or Castor Troy, he's like walking up on the shore, like nobody falls, or like
that's what I mean. How far did he swim?
He just swam to shore. Like it blows my mind.
Because I'm assuming this prison is like pretty deep into the ocean, right? Like it. This can't just be like right off the coast, you know, like.
So when I watched this, I watched the scene today, and actually you can see in the background, you can see the shore, but it's still probably a good like 40 miles away, 50 miles away.
Yeah, and he apparently is an amazing swimmer. Like the dude should.
If he was swimming out from the middle of the ocean to the shore.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been a terrorist. He should have been an Olympic gold medalist.
Anyway, that was another wild scene.
Yeah. So, anyway, now it goes on. Now, Sean Archer finds out that Sean Archer, Castor Troy, John Travolta, it's all complicated, finds out that the new Castor Troy has escaped. And now, I forget kind of exactly what happens in the rest there. But Castor Troy, the new Castor Troy, basically does what the new Sean Archer did. And he goes
to play his life, basically.
Yeah, old contacts to get a little help.
Yeah.
And now this leads us to... Yes, I believe it was.
He goes to like his loft or whatever. So like Castor Troy's real friends, his real girlfriend, and like kind of I don't know if he's like trying to get information or what.
Yeah, a little bit of help, whatever. So this leads us to one of the greatest scenes in the history of cinema.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you
haven't seen it, it's just the classic Nicolas Cage. I want to take his face.
Yeah.
Oh. Like this is where we get the title of the movie. I want to take his face.
Face off. If you didn't think that the first 15 minutes,
emotion, everything, it's just.
If you didn't think the first 15 minutes of this movie wasn't amazing, like wait till hour 1 and 20 minutes, because that's when we get really amazing.
And all his friends say to this is no more drugs for that guy.
yeah. So then he meets real Castor Troy's girlfriend, who has son, and I didn't make note of this, or I didn't make a comment on this earlier, but the little you know what he does with a face when he sees the boy and he like does that hand with the face across.
Yeah.
So that whole thing was improvised by John Travolta. And probably one of the creepiest things throughout the movie, it just made me cringe every time he did it. So anyway, he sees this new kid with Gina Gershon's character, and he like, it's almost like he was wanting this kid because he lost his. Like he was like, "Oh my god, I finally can replace my kid."
Yeah, it ends up being a very creepy scene. And I don't think it's what they were going for.
And he does this with the new kid. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little creepy there, John.
So, and then out of nowhere, FBI agents just fucking crash into the place.
Mm-hmm.
Just start spraying bullets everywhere. And dude, this was an awesome shootout. Again, John Woo is a master at directing action scenes. If you don't know who John Woo is, again, you need to do yourself a favor. And you need to look into John Woo and check out his shit, because the dude knows how to film a shootout, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, this scene is just fucking
the awesome. The only thing I didn't like about, well, I shouldn't say didn't like about it. The one thing I did notice is that, like, I don't think anybody dies. I think it's just a bunch of shooting.
No. Travolta kills at least one FBI agent.
Yeah, well, I know, like, point blank, right? Because he.
Yeah, because he sees him.
I don't know.
I think he sees him like kill someone or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's one thing. I don't know if many people really die in this, because
I mean, yeah.
Nicolas Cage, the new cast,
Oh, we're losing the other Steve.
The good cast of Troy doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to shoot any of the FBI agents because he's.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah, I wonder if the connection is going to be better in this chair.
Hopefully.
So was it that?
We're still losing you. Still losing you, Steve.
This.
Oh, we lost him now.
Here we are.
Yeah, we keep losing you.
Yeah, I keep losing everything here. So the bad Sean Archer ends up disarming the bomb himself at the convention center to make himself the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves him, and like he loves himself. Travolta goes over the top, as 90s Travolta did, and he kills it. It's awesome. Both performances in the movie are great.
Are amazing. An absolute,
incredible.
Two of the best characters ever made, and two of the best performances ever.
Yes, 100%.
And if you were expecting that there wasn't enough action, or not, like if you were like, oh wow, we've got a helicopter, turning down an airplane, we got a bunch of shooting scenes, we got a bunch of fireworks and blow-ups. Well, I mean,
now that you say that, I think there's really only about 3 or 4 action scenes.
And after that, though,
in the entire movie, but every action scene is like a massive set piece.
And if after all that, if you weren't expecting a boat race scene, you were very
yes. Oh, and of course, doves flying in the air.
I got to make a comment about that. So we're at that funeral for the chief that Sean Archer, Castor Troy killed, and like a respected, well respected police chief, I'm assuming, and they have the funeral by the beach or whatever. And like, how many doves were like flying in and out of that funeral?
Oh, way more than were necessary.
Anyways, but like, yeah, like I'm not sure why the beach. Probably because they needed to fit in a boat race, and they're like, how do we get to the beach? Why don't we have
I didn't know there was like, I didn't really even know there were like churches on the beach.
Neither did I.
There's a church ready to hold a funeral on the beach
that has 1 million doves in and out coming as they like.
There's 1 million doves right there, and speedboats conveniently parked on the beach.
Yeah.
And so the bad Sean Archer comes. He's got the family kidnapped now. Whatever. This is our final shootout. It just starts in the church. The doves start flying everywhere. The bullets start flying.
Boat race.
It proceeds onto the beach and into a high-speed boat race, which is like, to me, anytime a movie can end off with, even at any time in the movie have a high-speed boat race?
Yeah.
Boat chase? I mean, come on, this is awesome. And so, anyway, speed up. The bad Sean Arch is killed.
Mm-hmm.
Castor Troy is killed, and they're able to swap their faces back again. So John Travolta is now the good guy again.
Yeah, Travolta's back to being the good guy.
Yep, crazy character arc for Travolta in this movie. And life kind of just goes on. I guess he's a better husband after Castor Troy's dead. World saved.
The world is saved.
Yeah, the world is saved. I don't know.
The world
is safe again.
Nuclear bomb that was involved.
We don't know why. We don't know what Castor Troy was up to.
One little piece of information: Gina Gershon's character, who plays
Gina Gershon, had
this boy. She ended up dying in the shootout at the
and
home.
Sean Archer adopts the kid.
Yeah, and this family.
Now, what's that dynamic got to be like as the kid gets older?
They finally replaced their son that died at the beginning of the scene. I don't know what the dynamic is. Like, how do you explain that to your kid? About
the kid later on in life, it's like, so you killed my dad, and it's like, but he killed my son.
Yeah.
So now you're my son.
So now I claim you.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Yeah. So now you're mine, bitch.
Unbelievable.
So, what would you give this out of 10 stars?
Oh, out of 10 stars. I would give it an 8.6.
Ooh.
This movie has everything you need. It has action, a love story, a conflicted love story, like a love triangle, body swapping, a kid dies at the beginning. I mean, it has everything.
You seem to like that the kid dies at the beginning. You're a little fucked out.
Don't get me wrong. I don't love the idea, but it like catches your attention right off the hop that this kid dies, and then now, holy, we're in it. Anyway, it has everything you need, everything that you want in this movie. It has. So I like the 8.6 because it was very, very well done.
I was gonna go ahead with an 8.3.
Okay.
It's just, it's a great movie. It's just awesome. If you haven't seen Face Off, just you do yourself a favor. It's Sunday afternoon. Drink a few beers, smoke a few blunts. I mean, can you
Keep losing, yeah. Oh,
you've got to. Okay, now here's one more question for you about Face Off.
Shoot.
How much cocaine did Nicolas Cage do on the set? Hey, I'm here.
I would assume he was doing at least 3 to 4 lines every scene. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was made into the budget. Like, here's the budget for the film, da 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 da, and here is Nick Cage's blow budget right here. We'll just add that into the movie budget as well.
Well, fun fact, that was actually something that was in the budget for the Blues Brothers movie for John Belushi.
Yeah, same with Caddyshack.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. And like
Nick Cage, that is actually not a far-fetched thing to
Nick,
say.
like as you said, the first 15 minutes of this movie, Nick Cage has got to be coked up out of his mind.
For sure.
Like, just...
You know what's the funny thing about this whole thing, too? Is that in an interview, Nick Cage was only going to do this movie if he wasn't the bad guy.
Okay.
And by logic, he wasn't the bad guy for a majority of the movie.
He wasn't. He was not the bad guy for most of the movie.
So
all right, yeah. I like this fun fact. So now moving on. Look, the trailer for the fourth Purge movie, I believe, called the Forever Purge, just came out. I would screen share the trailer with all of you, but I am technologically incompetent.
Well, for all you lazy fucks out there, just go to YouTube and type it in after we're done here.
Yeah.
Purge 4 trailer Forever.
So this, it appears that a few people don't want the Purge to end and just decide they're going to keep it going. And like the day after the Purge or something, shit just hits the fan. Dude, I like this trailer.
I'm very surprised that this movie has lasted 4 movies long. Because if you think about it,
and
it's one day. I mean, it's one day out of the year that they get to purge everybody or purge as many as they can, and then like this is the only way that they can keep going is if like, hey, why don't we make the Purge forever?
Yeah, but
let's not limit ourselves to just one day. Why don't we do forever?
So, as much as like these movies aren't like that logical, whatever, and like they kind of get less logical as they go on. In a weird way, all of these movies have like improved upon things that its predecessor did not do as well.
Yeah.
So the first movie, we're just stuck in Ethan Hawke's house.
Yeah.
And it's basically just like Ethan Hawke's got a big ego, a big house, and a daughter with big tits. That was basically the movie.
Essentially,
yeah. It was cool, like, because I like the concept that they had, but I wanted to see the anarchy in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Now the second movie is actually just called Purge Anarchy, and it adds a badass Frank Grillo leading a ragtag team of random people safely through the streets during the Purge, and it's awesome. Now the one thing I thought it was lacking was the blood.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought it's a movie that should have had some gore to it. Right?
You would think if there's a purge and you're killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, I didn't. There wasn't really any gore in the movie, and so then the third movie was like they added the politics to it, and there was basically like he was like saving Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
Purge Night was like essentially the movie.
Yeah,
yeah. The bad guys were the Republicans. Let's. I'm going to gloss over all of this because I'm not supposed to talk politics here. But it added the blood to the movie.
Yeah.
And now this one, dude, like the trailer looks like it's going to be kind of fucking brutal.
I'm going to be honest with you, Steve. I didn't like the trailer. I think
you didn't like the trailer?
No, I think this looks like a movie that would like air on Spike.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm not watching the movie for any sort of intelligence factor. I'm probably not going to go see it in theaters.
No, absolutely not.
This is one that I'm going to wait to come out that I can rent for $5 on demand.
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke a ton of weed. I'm not going to watch it for any groundbreaking performances or, I'm not even expecting that good of a script.
Yeah.
All I'm looking to see is brutal violence.
Well, I mean, you'll probably get it.
It looks like I have it because, like, we see someone like smashing a sledgehammer into someone's face just in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So, if that's what I'm seeing in the trailer, then I expect a little bit. I expect some bloody fucking brutal violence in the movie, and that's what I'm gonna watch it for.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch. I'll probably end up watching it.
You can end up watching it.
Looks like one of those movies that's like it's the fourth movie, and it's just like, okay, yeah, it's kind of almost the same thing over and over again. And
it's 100% the same thing over and over again. It's a bunch of people in fucking creepy masks killing.
It looks everyone. Very, very under budgeted. It looks like, in my opinion, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know who any of the actors are in it.
Neither do I.
They've definitely fallen off a little bit from Ethan Hawke headlining their first movie.
Yeah, and he hasn't been. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those weird actors where like he's hardly ever in a movie, but like when he is, for some reason, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was somebody in it that looked really familiar.
They did look kind of familiar.
Oh, Josh Lucas.
Oh, Josh Lucas. Oh, we do know who's one of them are. He's the
guy
from the worst Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah. He's also like Ford vs. Ferrari, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, was he? I actually have not seen that yet.
That's a very good movie. You should watch that.
Oh. Ooh, maybe we'll do that. It probably won't be next week's movie of the week. I'm not going to say that. But we'll just wrap this off real quick with a couple of terrible Twitter takes. So I've seen some idiots the past couple days. And I just thought the timing of them was pretty funny. Now, on the day of Kevin Garnett being inducted on Friday, we had this kid on Twitter, a Lakers fan, going off about how everybody in Boston is racist because there are reports of people in Boston being racist in the 60s. When
Jesus,
everyone was racist. Yeah. So just fun fact for that is Los Angeles is home to the two biggest race riots in United States history. So I don't know who you're calling shots at. The Rodney King shit was a lot more recently than the 60s.
Yeah.
But he said, why didn't you ask Kevin Garnett about the racism in Boston? Well, funny that while he was saying that to us, Kevin Garnett was being inducted in the Hall of Fame. I love the Boston fan base. Once you learn how to embrace them, they're great. Along those lines. My only regret really is that I didn't come to Boston sooner. So, yeah, that kind of backfired on you.
This kid must be living under a fucking rock. Like, does he not get that there's racism everywhere? Not just like just in Boston.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, and like don't tell me that. Yeah, tell me to ask Kevin Garnett while he's saying that Boston was the greatest place he played for. It was like kind of stupid. And we had someone saying that they missed watching KG play, and someone replied to this: "If you miss him, then watch Bam Adebayo play." No, dude, I like Bam. Bam's a nice young player. Got some talent. Gonna be pretty good in his career. No, he's not anything like KG.
Yeah, KG is a little bit. I found KG a little bit more flashier than like Bam. Like Bam's just your typical, not typical, but he's a fairly typical center, block shots, can score in the paint. Whereas KG, like KG was doing everything, man. Like he was everywhere.
Yeah, KG was an MVP.
Yeah,
and he was more of a character.
Like Bam, he might not have it yet, but Bam just doesn't have that characteristic where it's like, okay, he's gonna overtake a game here. Here's Bam gonna
all
go
facets of the game. He's gonna score at will, and he's gonna lock you down on defense at the same time. I don't know. Like I'm not saying Bam's not talented. Like he's obviously I have respect for his players, not Kevin Garnett. And like I said, the mannerisms of Kevin Garnett, like the attitude on the court, the screaming and barking in people's faces, always having to be bleeped out because he was dropping F-bombs everywhere, diving on the court like that. No, Bam doesn't do that.
No,
it's not the same. What else did I have? Oh, I'm gonna go with I have to rip on these idiots from Felger and Maz, of course. Fucking morons. Now, they were saying the other day, Josh, you're a hockey fan. So I wanted to get your take on this.
Okay.
They said that the last decade, whatever run for the Bruins has been a total failure because they've basically just been a team that wins in the regular season and does nothing in the playoffs. And says that basically the San Jose Sharks.
Are we so?
This is Boston media, by the way.
Yeah. So their last run, like, what do you mean by their last run?
This because they've had good teams since 2011.
Yeah,
they won the cup. Then they've been to the a couple other since. Always like a playoff team, kind of like a contender.
Well, here's
a contender every year.
My first comment on that one. Comparing them to the San Jose Sharks is like I would say the complete polar opposite of comparisons. Like Boston, the Bruins are more of a grind team, like dump chase, gonna beat you to the corner and beat you there. That's how you're gonna win the games. Whereas San Jose was a little bit more finesse, I found. I don't know. They're not. I'm more speaking maybe like with Bruins teams this year, like in the last few years, they've been built for short-term success, maybe because they just don't have that secondary. Well, now that they have Taylor Hall, they didn't have Taylor Hall before this year, but they didn't have that secondary scoring that could beat. Because basically all you had to do against Boston was just shut down Pasternak, Bergeron.
Yeah.
Right. But now they got Taylor Hall, which is a big addition for them. But in the last, I don't know, let's say 15 years, the Bruins team has been built pretty well offensively and defensively. And then, oh, by the way, you have Vezina winner Tuukka Rask in net.
Well, I think
that they're only built for the regular season is a very, very far stretch because they've been so good for the last 20 years. And then even before that, it's not often that the Bruins are bad. And
I was going to say they went to 3 Stanley Cup finals in 10 years.
Yeah.
And they won one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously it's a disappointment that we lost in Game 7 a couple of years ago, but to say that they only win in the regular season when they've been to 3 Stanley Cup finals in 10 years, it's like, what?
Yeah. Now You could say
obviously won a few playoff series if you go to the Cup 3 times.
Yeah. You could say that.
They also said that they lucked into the Stanley Cup in 2011 because the goalie got hot. Now,
was that Tim
I
Thomas?
actually watched. Yeah. Now I actually watched a lot of hockey back then. I watched nearly that whole playoff run. Yeah, they don't win that without Tim Thomas.
No, for sure not.
He was unreal that year.
You could say that for basically every single year of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Whoever wins has the hottest goalie, right? It's just
that happens all the time. The goalie gets hot and you go on a run because of it.
Usually, whoever wins has the hottest goalie that year. It's very very rare.
And and saying they lucked into it. I remember that team went out on the ice against Pittsburgh, who was supposed to beat them. And Pittsburgh had much more speed and finesse. And Boston just went out there and beat them up and down the ice.
Mm-hmm.
They just pushed them around, and they won the series.
Yeah, they changed. They made Pittsburgh play their game.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh couldn't force Pittsburgh to play their style, and it screwed Pittsburgh.
And Pittsburgh.
I don't call that lucking into a cup. Like
Pittsburgh at the time did not play that way. They weren't a grind team. They weren't I'm going to beat you to the wall guy, or they were finesse. They were try and get on the power play, and we're going to score 2 or 3 power play goals, or we're going to try and just beat your defenseman around you. That Boston had none of that. They were more, what, we're going to beat you one-on-one battles, and we're going to beat you to the puck every time we can. And we're going to grind you out. And that's what they did.
I think that's also the year. Yeah, it is also the year that Gregory Campbell. I don't know if you remember this because you're a Bruins fan. It was Campbell's last shift. I believe it was in a playoff series. This dude shattered his leg.
No, I don't remember that.
I know you can find it on YouTube. You could see his knee buckled.
I'll have to see. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that.
The bottom of his leg is gone. It's just broken. You can tell. And he stays out on the ice and finishes his shift.
Fuck.
Psychopath. That's the thing I love about hockey, honestly, is that they're all fucking psychos.
Yeah, one guy had a heart attack, basically, or his heart stopped, and then he asked if he could go out for the next shift.
Yeah, his heart stopped, and then he asked if he could go back onto not even a quarter of an inch wide fucking skate, and start skating into people at 25 miles an hour. That's kind of fucking sick. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got here today. Just to kick off, I do want to tease. I believe you will like this, Josh.
Ooh.
We'll have my next article coming out tomorrow morning, and I dive into why I think George Costanza is one of the more dangerous psychopaths we have seen in our lives.
Oh, God, yeah. Is that ever true, hey?
I mean, the dude he's just not right in the head. He's not.
Yeah, he and he does things opposite not every single day, but he does things opposite as to what you would do, and he gets amazing jobs.
Well, that's another thing. I have to touch on this now that we're here. George is considered the loser of the show, the loser of the group of friends.
And rightfully so. I mean, he is.
Well, I guess. But hear me out. There was an article at crack.com, and they counted the George Costanza throughout the course of the show had 97 confirmed sexual partners. No, I'm not going to say that's a healthy lifestyle, but dude, for a short little Saki bomb man, to get nearly 100 girls into bed with him.
Yeah, that's true.
The dude's got some sort of game.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he almost has a date with Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
Right after she won an Oscar. And he holds a job for a long time with the New York Yankees. We assume is a well-paying job. He even travels with the team. Now, I fucking hate the Yankees, but like, that's a good job. Dude, and he can't even get fired from the job. Like, remember how hard he tries to get fired?
He tried to get fired, yeah. And Steinbrenner wasn't having it.
Yep. Like, just, I don't know. And he also eats a pastrami sandwich while having sex with a woman, which anyone who does that, like,
they can pull that off.
Yeah, you've got my respect forever. But yes, that'll be out tomorrow on the site. I don't know what time we're going to release that yet. Some point tomorrow morning. BlueCollarMG.com. You'll see it on all our social platforms. Costanza's a psychopath. I love the show. None of them are really good people, but like, Costanza's the worst, and Costanza is dangerous.
Oh yeah,
he's dangerous. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Whenever you're watching us, if you're live or not live, whatever, I don't care. And thank you, Josh, for coming in and keeping the show going with me, buddy.
Yeah, and thanks a lot for having me. Whenever you want
the idea to talk about Face Off.
I mean, yeah, if you ever want me to come on and talk any 90s action movies, you just give me a shout, give me a ring, I'll come on and talk them.
Dude, well, I mean, now that I'm gonna make movie of the week a weekly segment.
I like it
on the show. So, I mean, it's probably gonna end up being like a 90s action movie half the time because, like, that's mostly if I'm watching a movie, it's usually an 80s and 90s action movie.
Exactly.
That's the best action movie to watch.
Yeah, they're the best. They're some of the best movies ever made.
Dude, the 90s was great for that little subgenre of action movies of random white guy with insane martial arts skills foils criminal organization.
Yeah, works for the FBI.
Yeah, like it was like it's like how Steven Seagal and like Jean-Claude Van Damme made all their money.
Basically.
And it was great. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you, Josh, for coming on with me. And we will see you all next week.